Thommo, and let's talk Legends of Tomorrow, which starts in January, and it's one of the spin-offs from Arrow and Flash, and features a whole new team of heroes and villains, which is quite interesting. So I'm going to give you a run through of the characters involved and where they come from, their origin stories, and basically where we've seen them on television before. So let's kick off with Rip Hunter. He is essentially the guy who brings the Legends of Tomorrow together. We don't actually know that much about him, as this is his first appearance, but what we do know is that he is a time traveller. He is mentioned at the end of the first season of Flash, who he's mentioned as the inventor of the time bubble, and he's basically come back into present day, well, our present day anyway, and he is looking to bring down the villain Vandal Savage, who we have seen in the Arrow and Flash crossover already, but he is an immortal, so Rip needs a team together to take him down essentially. So that's Rip Hunter. Then you've got the individuals who are coming from Arrow that we're familiar with. So let's start off with Sara Lance, who's going to be White Canary. So her sister has taken on the mantle of Black Canary, so naturally Sarah's got to find a different colour and it looks like she's going to be White Canary. We're not quite sure how she becomes White Canary, but we do know that she's got the skills that she's passed down to her sister in combat, so she's going to be quite a valuable part of the team. And then we've got Ray Palmer, who is Atom, who, if you're picking apart the character a little bit, he is essentially DC's version of Iron Man and Ant-Man put together. So he's got this super powered suit. It can make him go as tiny as an atom, which is quite handy, but it can also fly. It's got weapons in it as well, so another valuable part of the Legends of Tomorrow. Possibly two of the most interesting characters that are being thrown into the mix here are from the Flash universe, and that is Heatwave and Captain Cold, who, if you've been watching the show, you'll know all too well that these are actually villains. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they come into the fold and whether they're actually going to turn good, or if there's going to be quite a lot of conflict within the team because of this pair. I mean, they'd certainly be great allies for the team. So Captain Cold has got his cold gun that he uses, and Heatwave has got his heat gun. So they've got the weaponry that would help out the team, but you just think that if there's going to be any trouble caused and any rifts, it's going to be with these two. So these are probably the two that I'm really excited to see how they fit in, because they're going to create some great dynamics within the Legends of Tomorrow. Another Flash entity who will be entering the fray is Firestorm. So if you remember the original show, we saw Ronnie Raymond and Martin Stein combine forces to become Firestorm, but now it's just slightly different. You've got a character called Jefferson Jackson, and he is now the new age Firestorm with Professor Stein. So you've got those two combining powers, and they combine to create a guy who is very similar to the Human Torch. So he can fly, he can create fire, and he's very much another one of these individuals who he's got some very handy powers that are going to help out to fight against Vandal Savage. But there is also the added element of Ronnie is actually going to be making a few appearances within the show, so it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back into things, because he went off for a new life away from the superpowers, and if for him to return, obviously Martin Stein's are very much the key part of Firestorm, because he's the brains and then you've got the brawn is the other half. So it's going to be one of those situations where you might see a little bit of conflict with character in this one, but then it adds a bit more depth to Firestorm, and I'm sure that depth will reverberate across the board with all the characters. So that's something that's going to be very, very good to look out for, and it could add that much needed depth to this show. So we got their backstories as Khufu and Shayara from the days of ancient Egypt in the Arrow and Flash crossover recently, and now we're going to fully get Hawkman and Hawkgirl finally enter the fray with the Legends of Tomorrow. So these pair they're lovers, and they're reincarnated through the ages. And it was explained that Vandal Savage, for every reincarnation of Hawkman and Hawkgirl there are, Vandal Savage returns, and his mission is to kill them. So we assume that this is going to be the case once again when all the Legends of Tomorrow come together. Whether it will be these two that essentially start it, or whether it is to do with Rip Hunter and something for his backstory, we don't know. But certainly these two will be a central force within the show, and their powers are basically flight, and they've got the fighting abilities. So once again, they're a formidable force, and when they're combined with everybody else, they're going to be interesting characters. And hopefully we see some more of the flashbacks to ancient Egypt, because they were really good. And this is something that these shows have always impressed with. You know, these flashback sequences, especially in Arrow, they're a key part of the show. So hopefully we get those as well, and it'll be quite exciting to see where these two go. So Legends of Tomorrow starts in January. Let me know what you think the show's going to be like. Is it going to match up to the likes of Arrow and Flash, or is it going to be one of those ones that's going to be a bit more forgettable? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you like my post. Subscribe. I'm going to be bringing you a lot more from the world of television and some movie reviews. I'll also, in the new year, be reviewing every episode of Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl. So click the subscribe, and I will be posting something very soon. Thanks a lot.